I mean, that's a solid pull.
All right, what's up YouTube? What's up Hammerheads? Vanhammer HP, Craig coming at you. All right, so here what we're gonna do, we're just gonna bring you a little video. We're gonna bring a little, I guess, overview of what we've been doing this whole time. What I've told you guys I was gonna bring you was a budget build for your 2018, 2019 Mustang. We'll kind of go over you know, kind of where the idea came from and stuff like that, and you know, my thought process behind some of the things that we did and why we did some of the things we did with that. But first, before we do that, I think we got a good cold start coming here. Let's go ahead and check it out. So budget build, let's talk about it. So what brought on the idea was while I was doing my research, and it might have been just before I started the YouTube channel, I was doing a lot of research on Mustangs, and I knew I wanted one. And so anyway, come across two YouTubers that I really liked. One was Xander13, the other one was Stang Mode. So both of those guys, one had an 18, one had a 19. Both of those guys modded their cars to cold air intake, headers, tunes with the tuner, resonator deletes and things like that. And anyway, so kind of followed their path with that. In one particular video, they go to the drag strip, and they're met up with another YouTuber, Boosted J. So anyway, they're running down the drag strip. Now Boosted J claimed all he had done to his car was a K&N high flow air filter, E85 tune from Palm Beach Dyno, and then he had drag radials on the back, and that was it. And he was running 11.2s at the drag strip and running right along Xander and Stang Mode, who were you know, had the cold air intake, headers, and all that good stuff. So it really made me think, you know, you start pricing that stuff, cold air intake, headers, and things like that, and man, it gets expensive real quick. And you know, a lot of guys just don't have that kind of money to be able to do that. So I kind of just wanted to piece together in videos what I thought would be kind of a budget build to get the, you know, get the most out of your car while it was naturally aspirated without spending, you know, $4,000 to $5,000. And so what we came up with was this budget build. And if we add it all up to date, and it's not only, it's mostly power modifications, but we also included the suspension mod in it, in this package as well, because you know, you got to help put the power to the ground. So what I started off with, if you go back and look at the videos, what we started off with, the first power modification for the car was high flow air filter. K&N high airflow filter, washable, reusable, part number 335029. Slide that in just like that. Okay, K&N high flow air filter, 60 bucks. You know, doesn't break the bank, doesn't require a tune, easy to install. You don't get any easier than that, right? Well, the reason we went with that is there's been a lot of information and stuff out on YouTube, out on the internet, a lot of discussion about whether cold air intakes are really worth it. And you know, to answer the question, I mean, the answer is yes, they are, but it depends on your application and how you're applying the cold air intake and which cold air intake. I think there's advantages and disadvantages to your cold air intake, and some of the research and stuff that's been done on it is, you know, the dynos with the cold air intake. And if you notice, when anybody ever does a dyno, especially with a cold air intake on, the hood's always up. Well, you know, you don't drive your car with the hood up, and so when you have a open air cold air intake, you got the hood up, of course that cold air intake is going to just suck in large amounts of air. Some of the research has been done on that, where if you have an open box cold air intake with the hood down, I've seen dynos where you actually lose power. But anyway, that's kind of why I went with the filter, because there's some data out there that kind of disproves cold air intakes in a way in certain situations. We did also, let me come down here and show you. When we put that filter in, we also did just a little modification here where we bored out these 7 extra holes here, and some of them were completely closed, and a couple of them were halfway closed there, but put a little drill bit in there, drilled it out, took the Dremel, and then went ahead and bored that out so we could get a little more added airflow in there. The new Mustangs, the air box actually tubes down into like a ram air type system there, and so really can't tell you scientifically how much that helped, but I think it helps get the air, you know, get a higher airflow in there. Anyway, so that was our first power modification. Second power mod that we went with was the Resonator delete. Here we go. So it's the Pipes H pipe, the 409 stainless steel. Feels solid, looks good. Okay, on these cars you can do the Resonator delete. You have the option of H pipe or X pipe. If you go with the X pipe, the 18s and 19s went quad tips on the exhaust, so your exhaust has more of that raspy race car sound, as opposed to just dual exhaust. And if you get an X pipe, it's gonna amplify that same tone. It's gonna amplify the raspiness. You're gonna kind of sound, I think, more like a race car. Well, first of all, everybody was doing the X pipe, and I kind of like old school muscle car sound, and from what the research said was that the H pipe you would get a deeper exhaust and sound more like an older model muscle car. The problem with that is you still have quad tips, and so it's not gonna be the same sound as if you put an H pipe on a dual exhaust. So that's what was kind of interesting to me, is how the quad tips were going to affect the sound that the H pipe was going to put out. And all in all, I loved it. We got that. We chose the H pipe for that reason, because I wanted the deeper exhaust sound, not as raspy as the X pipe. Really, in my opinion, if you're a guy that, you know, not real big into the performance market or whatever, and you buy one of these and you wanted a little more sound and just a little more power, and maybe get a little higher MPGs, the high flow air filter and the Resonator delete with the H pipe or X pipe, whatever you want to go to, and really I think you could just stop there. The Mustang sounded awesome at that point. I was really impressed, you know, with the sound. And again, with the Resonator delete, you don't need, there's no need for a tune or anything. Next from there, we did go ahead and get the tune. We chose the N-Gauge and we chose Palm Beach Dyno. There you go. You know, there's a lot of talk about Palm Beach Dyno, Lund, whatever. Both great companies. And so I ultimately just chose Palm Beach Dyno because the guys I was watching and stuff like that had chose Palm Beach Dyno, and they were getting good results from it. So I'm not going to tell you to go one way or another. I went with Palm Beach Dyno. Haven't had any problems with it. Great tuning. The cars felt really great since I've done that, and so it's been good. Now, tuner and tune, we paid $780 for tuner and tune, and what that included was you got the N-Gauge device. When you bought the N-Gauge device, it came with one fuel tune. Then it was a $20 fee for being automatic, $15 for the mount. We went for the windshield mount. We live here in Texas, so I couldn't give up one of my air conditioner vents. And then it was another $100 for another gas tune or fuel tune. And so what I did was I chose the 91 octane tune. That throttle response is something else now. It really makes the car feel totally different. And then an E85 tune. I'll tell you what, these E85 tunes for the Mustang just bring this car to life. And I'm telling you, it's a whole new car now. Really, the reason why I went with the 91 octane tune was for simplicity purposes. I didn't have to go around and hunt down a 90, you know, who sells 93 and all that good stuff. And then the E85 tune, we weren't going to be on it all the time. You know, I was really just from time to time go to it when I want to play around or whatever, or right before we go to the track. Okay, so just while we're on the topic of the 91 octane tune, I tell you what, the setup that we have now, when we run the 91 octane tune and we take these trips on the highway, you know, you'd think maybe your gas mileage might decrease a little bit. Well, we're running anywhere from 26 to 28 miles per gallon on the 91 octane tune when we're on the highway. You couldn't be happier with gas mileage. I mean, you're in a 400 plus horsepower car and you're getting 26 to 28 miles per gallon in your car. It's awesome. So that's what we went with, the Palm Beach Dyno tunes there. And like I said, couldn't be happier with that. After we got our tunes, or got our tuner in and got all that ready, I jumped immediately to the cat delete. Okay, the cat delete was our last power modification to the car, and reason we went cat delete. Okay, you got some options out there. Of course, you can go headers or cat delete. Cat delete, obviously the cheaper of the routes. You go headers, you go with a good header, you're going to pay $1,000 plus. If you're not installing them, you're probably looking at that cost again to get somebody to install them. Ultimately, that's why we went with the cat delete. In the cat delete, my original plan was to go with the matte cat delete. It's the popular cat delete out there. You're looking at about $350 or so, and then there is some welding involved, so unless you're a good welder, somebody's going to have to install that for you, so you're going to pay there. So what happened there was I went to talk to somebody that owns a muffler shop, and he pretty much talked me into not doing that and told me, hey, we'll just cut the cats out of there and we'll weld some stainless steel pieces in there. You see, basically all they did was straight cut the cat out and weld in a pipe, just straight pipe, in its place. Same thing on this side. Welded it in there where it meets the factory piece. Cut the cat right here. That flange is actually the flange that goes on the factory cat. And you know, just basically you're putting in a straight pipe in place of the cats. Now that's more permanent. The Matt Cat Delete had the ability for you to take it out and modify your cats in a way where you could put your cats back in there if you ever ran into a problem with inspection or had to get the car inspected or anything like that. So if you live in one of those states where things are a little more strict like that and they have some regulations like that, the Mad Cat Delete might be what you want to go with. This was a little more permanent in that the pipes are actually welded in there. So if we ever go back, we'll actually have to cut them out and then get the cats welded back in there, which they assured me that they could do if I ever needed it, if we were ever going to trade the car in or anything like that. But that cost me $150, and so you can't beat that. If you plan on doing the Cat Delete, you are going to be louder. And so that's just one thing you're gonna have to deal with. Some people like it, some people don't. I'm neither here or there. Honestly, I thought the perfect sound for the car was just the H pipe on there. But I don't mind the sound from the Cat Delete. Those were our power modifications, and so we tried to take her to the drag strip at that point. That was going to be one of our tests to legitimize our budget mod build, or our budget build. And what we quickly found out is especially on the E85, we were making way too much power, and you gotta have the tires. Couldn't really get any accurate drag strip times with those power modifications and with that budget build. Okay, the last thing I'm including in the budget build is not a power mod, but it's suspension. And what we went with is BMR suspension parts. So here we go, some vertical links. These are the BMR Performance Series springs. Ooh, all right, there you go. BMR, there's your part number. Good quality product. It's kind of middle of the line on price, but I think it's gonna handle everything that we got here. And of course, those suspension mods are gonna help you keep the power or put the power on the ground. Definitely need the suspension mods if you're gonna do the power mods too. Ultimately, when you add it all up, I was just over $1,500. With performance mods and the suspension mods. And if you're kind of strapped for cash or whatever, but you want to do some mods to your Mustang and you want to change the sound, give it a little more power, I definitely recommend going this budget build route. And it's not anything permanent. It's not anything that you're going to do permanent. It's to kind of get you in the game, get you, see how the car feels with the extra power until you can save up and really go all out with headers, cold air intake, and things like that. And so that's kind of the overview of the budget build. Now we have two tests now to see is budget build worth it. First, we got to put her on a dyno. We got to get the HP numbers right. Second, we got to get her to hook up at the drag strip to see what kind of times that we're getting. We've already put her on the dyno, and I'm not going to reveal those numbers right now. We'll put out a different video about the dyno and what took place on that. But I will tell you this, just a little heads up on that video. Here in Lubbock, there was a couple different places that have dynos, and they're all Mustang dynos. And I know that's not what the YouTube vlogger community uses, I guess, a lot of the times, or for the majority of the guys out there with the Mustang channels and stuff use dyno jets, and those dyno jets are going to give you a higher horsepower number. We don't have a dyno jet available to us here in my area, so I just got to go with what's here. And really the point of it all is that you know, have a base number that then as we do modifications I can go back and see how it's affected. That's a wrap on the budget build. Tell me what you guys think in the comments, okay? What do you think about the budget build? What do you know, is it something that you think you might do? If you have any questions about it, leave me comments. I'll get back with you. I'm pretty quick about it. Check out the older videos if you haven't already, so you can see each piece, each build individually. And then, like I said, if you like the video, hit the like button. Please, if you haven't already subscribed, we're slowly moving up in the subscriber aspect, slowly but surely. But anyway, I enjoy making all the videos for you. We got some big things coming for Racy Lacy. Literally, they're coming. They're on their way already, and we're gonna get there. And like always, drop the hammer. Peace.
Do it.